Finally got some time to do a quick test on this Grizzly Cyclone that I bought a couple weeks ago. I started by taking and cleaning out and blowing and vacuuming out the that top canister, and then I put a new bag on it and I cleaned out the drum, and then I actually went back to this plastic two-way because somebody said that three-way may be causing turbulence in there, so I just wanted to make sure that I went back to the exact out-of-box setup that they had. So I decided I was going to do a quick test and just run a couple boards through. So basically I'm starting with a piece of walnut that I had. It's not the darkest walnut. It's kind of white on one side with sapwood and a little bit brown on the other side. But I figured the brown would show up in the bag pretty good compared to the next piece of ash that I'm going to run. So I just ran it through. I did several passes. You can see here, these are all the passes that I did, just like I was planing something. The only thing is I would have probably run it through the joiner first, so I had a nice flat board when I was done. But this is just kind of a piece of sapwood, so I'm not really too worried about it. So these are the passes that I'm doing here, and you can kind of see that bag on the separator in the back there, the actual dust collector bag there. That was a brand new bag, so I'd start out clean and could see exactly what accumulated in it, and you can start to see a lot of little chips starting to fly around in there. So it's it's definitely not a perfect solution, but it looks like it does work pretty good. I really have nothing else to compare it to. I can only compare it to my dust deputies, which basically let nothing through them. They pretty much, the vacuum filter can go for a year without having to be cleaned out, after many buckets of material. So I'm going to say, compared to the dust deputy that I have, the small one, this is nowhere near as efficient. So here we are. I did a couple passes on that, just to get a good idea, and then go back and you can see the chips actually flying around in the bag there. Not really a lot of them, but there's more than I expected. So for now I'm just gonna shut it off and kind of shake that filter shaker up there to see what it looks like came out in that first couple passes. You can see it, a little bit more flowing down. And like I said, I had vacuumed and blown out that filter before starting this. And there you can see what came out of those first couple passes. Those are the chips that actually made it through the Cyclone. And this was with that bag in the growler there, completely, emptied out before starting. Then I had another piece of ash that I had just gone out and grabbed from my shop. Figured you could see a little bit of difference between the white wood of the ash and the walnut chips. So I'm just gonna run that through a couple passes. These are the real-time passes that I'm doing. I did speed it up a little bit just because it shortened the video down a little bit. But I just wanted to get several good passes on it so that the growler bucket would have some chips in it. And you can pretty much see that bag in the back there starting to, get some pretty good chips in it now. Now I'm hoping somebody with one of those dust deputies, the super ones, will chime in here and, let me know how efficient theirs seems to be. Because that was the other option that I had looked at, but I really like the canister setup on this one. So there it is after doing a couple passes of that second board, and you can actually see a little bit more chips in there. So I'm just gonna shake that filter a little bit, and then I decided to just take that bag and loosen the clamp on it, so I could get up in there. There's a couple places where the dust actually hangs up in this collector on the top edge of that round Cyclone there, and right at the bottom edge of the filter. And this was all cleaned out before I started, so I figured it you know, if there's dust up there, it came from these couple passes, and you can definitely see that there is. So the finer dust seemed to go up into the filter still, and the larger chips went down in the bag. So it's you know, it looks like it's going to help somewhat with the filter plug-in, but it's, you know, really not the perfect thing. So there's what went through it in those couple passes that I just did, and you can see there's the fine stuff that went up in the filter, and the coarser chips just fell to the bag. So, you know, it is not a perfect solution, as you can see. Now, I also had a subscriber mention that maybe I should try a piece of about 10-inch long, 6-inch pipe on that in front of that input too, to straighten the flow out a little bit. So I may have to try that next. And there you can see the couple passes. That's how full the can was, about 2/3 full. So, you know, it really wasn't over full or anything. And this is how it's going to operate normally. So in the end, I'm going to say it's much more efficient than the trash can lid separator that I had, but you know, that this also cost 10 times what that lid did when I purchased that. So I'm just thinking it should be a little better than what it is, but you know, I have nothing to compare it to, and you know, it looks like it's going to help out in the long run. Maybe someday I'll pick up one of the Oneida Cyclones and swap it out and see what that does. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.